In a world where children should feel safe within their homes, many are silently suffering behind closed doors. This video investigates a painful truth, crimes within families, focusing on child neglect and abuse. Welcome to our field study on this pressing issue. Child abuse and neglect within families is not only a social and legal issue, it is a profound moral failure around the globe. Countless children endure physical, emotional, and psychological harm from those meant to protect them. Our research explores the nature, causes, and impact of such abuse within Malaysian family, from both philosophical and ethical perspective. Welcome to ML Studio. Today, we are discussing a heartbreaking and urgent issues, crimes within family, neglect, and abuse of children. We conducted a field study to explore the causes, consequences, and possible solutions to these hidden crimes through philosophical, ethical, and societal lenses. We aim to raise awareness and encourage action. Joining me are my fellow researchers, ASILAH, Izni, IMAN, and FARIESYA, who will each share insights from our research. To begin with, ASILAH will walk us through the objective of our study.
Next, for our research focus on the four main objectives. The first one is to identify the form of abuse and neglect faced by the children in the family. Second, to analyze the issue through the philosophical perspective, such as Confucianism, utilitarianism, and Kantian ethics. Okay, so right now I will explain of philosophy perspective under Confucianism, utilitarianism, and the Kantian ethics. So the first one is Confucianism, which is ethic and a social harmony. Be respectful, kind, and do your duty in relationship, and focus on harmony and good behavior. Second, utilitarianism, which is a maximum happiness. Do what brings the most happiness to the most people. Focus on the result of your action. And lastly is a Kantian ethic, or a synonym words, which is duty and rules. Always do the right thing no matter the outcome, and also follow moral rules and respect others. The third one is to review current societal and legal response in Malaysia. For last objective is to propose actionable solution for prevention and intervention of this issue.
In our first study, we discovered that child abuse and neglect are far more widespread than they appear, especially when it happens within the family members. According to the recent statistic of Malaysia Welfare Agency, more than 5,000 cases of child abuse are reported each year. And unfortunately, these experts believe that many more go unreported, hidden by fear, silence, or shame. We can categorize the abuse into four main types, which is physical abuse. This include action like hitting, slapping, burning, or any form of bodily harm. It often leaves a visible scar, but the emotional trauma can last even longer. Okay, second, we have emotional abuse. This is harder to detect but just as damaging. It involves a verbal insult, constant criticism, isolation, rejection, or manipulation that can destroy a child's self-worth. And third is a sexual abuse, a deeply disturbing and sensitive issue. Many victims are too afraid to speak up, and in some cases, the abuser is a close family member, which makes it even harder for a child to seek help. And finally, which is neglect. This is happen when the parents of the guardian fails to provide a basic necessity of a child needs like food, clothes, shelter, education, medical care, and even love or emotional support. Okay, now let's look at this from a philosophical point of view. Abusing or neglecting a child violates basic ethical principle, no matter the culture or the background. According to the Kantian ethic, each person has inherent a dignity, and using a child as a target for one's frustration or control is morally unacceptable. It treats them as a mean, not an end. From the utilitarian perspective, child abuse creates more suffering than happiness, both for the victim and also the society, making it morally wrong. In Confucian philosophy, the family is the foundation of the moral and harmonious society. When the parents abuse or neglect their children, they disrupt the moral order of the family and in turn degrade the community. We also found that many abuse cases are covered up due to the social stigma, fear of breaking the family reputation, or lack of education on what abuse really looks. In summary, our findings shows that this issue is not only legal, it is deeply moral. Abuse in the family is the betrayal of trust. It damages the child physical, emotional, spiritually, and it tears at the fabric of the society.
Now that we've seen how serious and damaging child abuse and neglect can be, let's talk about what can be done to stop it before more lives are affected. Our team has developed 6 key recommendations. These are based on ethical principles, real-life case studies, and what we believe can make a practical difference. First, we need stricter enforcement of child protection laws. While Malaysia's Child Act 2001 exists, enforcement can be weak due to underreporting and a lack of follow-up. Authorities must act faster and more firmly, imposing harsher penalties for abusers and improving response time to reported cases. Second, we propose a mandatory parenting workshop, especially for families at risk. These programs should teach non-violent discipline, emotional support, and stress management. As research shows, lack of parenting skills often lead to harm, even if unintentional. Third, Malaysia needs to increase funding for child support services. Many social workers are overwhelmed and under-resourced. We need more child helplines, trained counselors, and accessible shelters. Services like Talian Kasih 15999 must be strengthened and promoted nationwide. Fourth, schools and communities must be empowered to detect and report abuse early. Teachers, religious leaders, and even neighbors can play a role. Community-based monitoring, including neighborhood watch groups, can help identify children in danger before it's too late. Fifth, we should embed moral education into school curriculums. Based on philosophies like Confucianism and ethics like Kant's moral duty, teaching respect, empathy, and nonviolence can help shape children and future parents with strong values. Fifth, we should embed moral education. Lastly, protecting children is not just the job of the government. It's a shared duty. Every citizen, from parents to policymakers, must stand up against abuse. By coming together as a society, we can build homes where every child feels safe and loved. In summary, our recommendations are grounded in both practical strategies and philosophical values. We believe that real change starts with awareness, education, and compassion. Let's remember, a safe childhood is not a privilege, it's a right.
Crimes within the family, especially against children, are often hidden under the guise of discipline or cultural norms, but abuse is never acceptable. Our study emphasized that protecting children is a moral, legal, and social duty. It's time for us, parents, neighbors, teachers, and leaders to speak up and ensure every child grows up safe and loved. Not just by punishing the guilty, but by changing mindsets, educating families, and protecting the voiceless. Let's build a future where no child suffers in silence. As the philosopher Confucius said, to put the world in order, we must first put the nation in order. And to put the family in order, we must first cultivate our personal life.